Revealed, miraculous healing through Ho'oponopono. Experience divine sleep for 3 sacred hours. The quaint village of St. Mary's buzzed with whispers of the extraordinary. Emily, a devoted parishioner whose faith had been a beacon for many, found herself in the storm of heartache. Her young son, little Toby, had fallen gravely ill, his laughter replaced by a silence that echoed through their home. As the days passed, he lay frail, eyes barely fluttering open. Emily, the woman who once stood strong at the altar, now wrestled with a deepening despair that made her heart ache and her soul trembled. It was during this dark time that the parish priest visited, a gentle man whose wisdom radiated warmth. Emily, he spoke softly, there's an ancient Hawaiian practice called Ho'oponopono, a way to heal through forgiveness and love. His voice was like a balm to her wounded spirit. Skeptical, yet desperate for hope, she listened intently as he spoke of miraculous healings stemming from collective faith. Could it truly unlock the gates of divine intervention for her son? As she introduced the practice during family prayers, she began invoking the intercession of St. Jude with a fervor that ignited their once faded faith. One evening, as they knelt by Toby's bed, the flickering candlelight danced across their faces, filling the air with a sacred presence. Emily felt something shift within, an inexplicable warmth enveloping her, whispering that all was not lost. With each invocation, she sensed a growing power, like a soft breeze lifting her spirit, igniting a newfound determination. But that very night, a grim shadow fell upon the household. Toby succumbed to a deep sleep, pulling away from the world around him. Panic surged through Emily's heart like a tempest. The doctors were helpless. Once again, the prayerful community stepped into action. Gathers in the church a few days later, candles were lit, hands clasped in firm hope. Whispers of unity blended with the melody of faith, transforming the sanctuary into a luminous haven of prayer. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As 3 sacred hours rolled forward, the air thickened with expectation. Emily could barely breathe, doubts clawing at her thoughts like dark shadows. Yet, she pressed forward, holding tightly to the flickering flame of hope. Suddenly, something stirred within Toby. His tiny eyelids fluttered. Gasps filled the room, hearts raced, and tears of joy flowed freely. Slowly, he awoke, his eyes sparkling with a vitality that had been absent for far too long. Emily fell to her knees, overwhelmed by a surge of gratitude. Was this the work of Ho'oponopono? A divine miracle? The villagers erupted in joyous praise, the church resonating with excitement for a miraculous healing that surpassed reason. Yet amid rising joy, an unsettling doubt lingered. Was this truly an answer from God, or just a fateful twist of coincidence? Questions loomed like storm clouds over her heart. Emily looked around at the faces lit with newfound belief, but within her, uncertainty danced. She sensed this was only the beginning of an unknown journey, one that would unravel deeper layers of faith and forgiveness yet to be discovered. What awaited her on this path of divine mystery, and how would she navigate the complexities of a faith reinvigorated yet riddled with questions? The sweet scent of jasmine wafted through the open window as dawn began to break over St. Mary's. A soft light poured into the room where Emily sat by Toby's bedside. Hope still flickered within her soul, but a heaviness lingered like shadowy remnants of a storm once past. She watched Toby sleep, his breath steady yet fragile. Was the miracle complete, or was this merely the calm before another storm? As days turned into weeks, the village buzzed with new stories of faith. People brought offerings of flowers and food, sharing their joy for Toby's recovery. The church became a sanctuary of gratitude, each prayer echoing like a joyful hymn. But as Emily moved through the vibrant community, a quiet hardening began within her. Overwhelmed by gratitude but tangled in doubt, she felt like a flower exposed to too much sun. One evening, as they gathered around the dinner table, Emily noticed Toby's laughter blooming again, like wildflowers in spring. It was music to her ears, yet a shadow lurked in her heart. She turned to her husband, Mark. What if this isn't a miracle? What if it's a moment of grace that fades? Her words trembled. Emily, we witnessed something beautiful, Mark replied, his eyes shimmering with conviction. God is here with us, even in our doubts. Perhaps it's in the uncertainty that we find true faith. His reassurance wrapped around her like a warm embrace, yet the nagging questions refused to fade. One night, Emily knelt in prayer before Toby, who was now happily tucked under his blanket. She whispered the ancient phrases of Ho'oponopono, inviting love, forgiveness, and healing into their home. Tears streamed down her cheeks as she realized the depth of her longing for clarity. I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. The words echoed in her heart, each syllable a bridge over her fears. Suddenly, she felt an inexplicable warmth. The shadows around her dissipated, revealing a light that filled every corner of the room. In that divine embrace, she sensed a movement, a gentle rustle as if heaven itself stirred. Time seemed to stand still. Was it a vision or merely her imagination? There, in the quiet stillness, she felt a voice whisper to her spirit, trust in the journey. Even the questions are sacred. The next day, as Emily attended Mass, she couldn't shake the sensation of being watched over. St. Jude's statue glimmered in the sunlight filtering through stained glass, reflecting hues of hope onto the congregants. The priest lit candles, and the sound of prayers rising like incense filled the air, wrapping around her like a warm cloak. Once the service ended, she lingered by the entrance, and as the villagers filed out, a woman approached her. Emily, she said, her voice soft, yet resolute, I had a dream about you and Toby. It felt so real, and in it, a message came through: trust in the hidden paths. Could it be that her desires for clarity were being answered in the form of a deeper mystery? Emily's heart quickened with the weight of possibility. She turned toward the church, the stillness echoing in her core. What other messages awaited her on this journey? How many more lessons of faith and forgiveness awaited discovery? As she stepped outside into the bright light, a question hung gently in the air. What would it mean to let go of certainty and embrace the sacred unknown? The sun rose higher, casting a golden hue across the village. Emily carried the weight of the message she had received, a whisper of hope weaving through her mind. Trust in the hidden paths. It played like a refrain, offering reassurance yet inviting mystery. After the Mass, she felt her spirit being drawn deeper into this sacred unknown. That afternoon, she wandered into the village square, where children played beneath the shade of blooming trees. Emily watched their laughter, carefree and pure, and it reminded her of Toby's joyful spirit. Yet, a shadow of uncertainty lingered. What was her next step? Was it merely enough to cherish the present moment, or was there further growth awaiting her? Mark found her sitting on a stone bench, an expression of quiet contemplation etched on her face. What's on your mind? He asked, a genuine concern knitting his brows. I'm still burdened by this fear, Emily confessed, her voice almost lost in the chirping of birds overhead. It's like I've been gifted this miracle, and yet, it feels like a fragile bubble that could burst at any moment. Fear can be deceptive, Mark replied, sitting beside her. It's a shadow cast by a brighter light. When you allow doubt to bloom, it can overshadow the miracles already present. Trusting in God means embracing His plans, even when it's unclear. Each of his words resonated within her like a bell, reverberating in the quiet spaces of her heart. Suddenly, she felt a twinge of determination. Perhaps there's beauty in not knowing all the answers. Perhaps faith thrives in the uncharted waters. With newfound resolve, Emily stood up and smiled at Mark. Let us start a new tradition. Each evening, we'll gather our friends at the church. We can share our stories of gratitude, our journeys of faith, and offer prayers together. Mark's eyes widened with joy at her suggestion. That's splendid. We can create a space of healing and hope, a community offering. As twilight painted the sky in soft pastels, Emily rushed home to prepare. She nestled the wooden prayer box onto the table, envisioning the combustion of heavenly energy that would ignite from shared stories and intention. Later that evening, as they welcomed neighbors, laughter and warmth filled their home. Each person added a prayer card into the box, sharing their beautiful struggles and miraculous victories. Emily felt an energy swell, including her own, rising like incense toward the heavens. After the gathering, as their friends bid goodbye, she noticed an air of peace settling over the house. A soft touch of serenity gathered in her heart, much like the moonlight spilling through the window. In the stillness left behind, she knelt beside Toby's sleeping form once more. "I'm here, God," she whispered. "I'm letting go of my expectations. Please guide me through the hidden paths." An unmistakable warmth enveloped her again, brushing against her cheeks. It was as if the universe responded, inviting her deeper into a reality she had not yet explored. Emily closed her eyes, breathing in the soft breaths of her son. That night, she surrendered to the invitation of trust, swaying gently with the rhythm of grace. But as she drifted off to sleep, a more profound question began to brew within her spirit. What secrets would be revealed if she danced fully in the unknown? Little did she know, the answers awaited just beyond the horizon, ready to unveil a journey beyond her wildest dreams. What other mysteries had God woven into the fabric of her life? The morning light poured through the window, illuminating Emily's face like a warm embrace. She awoke with the gentle coo of doves outside, the melody setting the tone for a new day. Though the shadows of uncertainty still lingered, something within her felt lighter, like the dawn had brushed away the night's worries. After breakfast, Emily could no longer ignore the stirring within her spirit. She decided to visit the village church, where the soothing aura seemed to cradle her. As she entered, the scent of polished wood mixed with the faint echo of whispered prayers. The emptiness of the pews felt alive with potential, inviting her deeper into communion. Kneeling at the altar, she pulled out the small prayer box and opened it. The cards within were thick with stories, hopes, and dreams from her neighbors. Emily felt the collective weight of their trust and faith, a tapestry woven together by shared journeys. "Lord," she murmured, "let me be a vessel for your love. Help me nurture this connection we all share." Moments passed as she sat in silence, her heart carrying the weight of those entrusted prayers. She envisioned the faces behind each card, saw their smiles, and sensed their fears. This sacred connection filled her with determination. What could blossom if they all embraced their hidden paths together? Suddenly, she felt inspired to write. Returning home, she took her favorite notebook and began recording the stories shared during their gathering. As the words flowed, Emily realized they spoke to a universal experience, a reflection of faith that stretched across different lives. In her writing, she began to see patterns of divine intervention, moments where ordinary trials turned into extraordinary testimonies of faith. Each line pulsed with the truth that healing often arose from places of vulnerability. That evening, as twilight cloaked the village, Emily planned to share her newfound revelations with her friends at their next gathering. Perhaps they could delve deeper into the essence of their stories and offer one another the solace of understanding. Later, when her friends arrived, Emily felt a different energy in the room. Conversations threaded together like vines, the exchange of laughter and sharing deepening the roots of their fellowship. One by one, she drew them deeper into the wonder of connection, revealing her writings. Each story resonated, bringing forth tears and laughter in equal measure. "Faith holds us together," Emily declared, her heart swelling. "In our struggles and triumphs, we find healing. We are never alone." The air crackled with a sense of divine presence. People shared how their fears transformed into victories, turning the mundane into miraculous. Their prayers, voiced aloud, danced in the air, seeking heaven's attention. As night fell and the last candles flickered, a profound hush enveloped the group. Emily sensed that something remarkable was unfolding, a shared commitment, a desire to embrace the mysteries that lay ahead. Yet, amidst the joy, a lingering thought whispered through her mind. Were they fully ready to venture into the unknown? What awaited them beyond their current understanding of faith and healing? And just then, a knock at the door shattered the silence. It echoed with an urgency that left everyone breathless. Curiosity mingled with anticipation. Who could it be? What revelation awaited them on this sacred night? The knock reverberated in the air like a heartbeat, quickening with each passing second. Emily's friends exchanged glances, their eyes wide with wonder and a bit of fear. The soft glow of candlelight danced on their faces, casting flickering shadows around the room. Should someone answer? Jake finally spoke, his voice barely above a whisper. Emily felt a surge of energy coursing through her. Yes, let us see who it is, she encouraged, feeling a strange pull towards the door. With cautious steps, she approached, each footfall echoing her anticipation. Lifting her hand, she paused, then knocked softly on the solid wood, an invitation hanging in the air. Heart pounding with both hope and trepidation, she swung the door wide open. What greeted her was a figure wrapped in a cloak of deep azure, the fabric seeming to absorb the light around. Emily's breath caught in her throat. The aura surrounding the visitor felt otherworldly, and a soft smile graced their lips. "Good evening," the figure said, their voice a soothing balm. "I am here to share a message, a glimpse into a path few dare to walk." The air shifted as though woven with sacred energy. Emily stepped back, allowing the cloaked figure to enter. Behind her, her friends leaned in, curiosity mixed with reverence. What message do you carry?" Emily asked, her heart racing. The figure gestured toward the prayer box still sitting on the gathered table. "Your prayers have ignited a flame, a fire that draws the divine closer. You seek healing not just for yourselves but for this community, and there lies a potent truth in your unity." The friends gathered around Emily, their faces illuminated by candlelight and the unfurling depth of the moment. There was a stirring in the room, a collective understanding blossoming from the seeds Emily had planted with her words. "Look within and you will find a wellspring of healing." The visitor's voice was low and melodic, wrapping around each person like an embrace. "Embrace the vulnerabilities you've shared, for therein lies the power of Ho'oponopono, the ancient practice of forgiveness and healing. It can transform you, draw away old burdens and allow grace to flow freely among you." Emily felt a warmth spreading through her heart. The stories they had shared, fractured pieces of pain and hope, now appeared to her as fragments of a mosaic revealing something greater. "Forgiveness is our balm," the visitor continued. "With it, you will ignite miracles. The healing you seek isn't merely physical but spiritual, connected to every heart in this room." Her heart raced as each one listened intently, faces brightening with hope. The energy shifted again, drawing them closer to a sacred realization. What if we, as a community, embraced this practice? What if we allowed our burdens to be lifted together? Emily suggested, her voice rising, filled with newfound conviction. The figure nodded knowingly. "In this journey, faith will guide you through the murky waters. Conduct your gatherings with intention, dive into prayer, express gratitude, and mend the hearts among you. You will each find healing that surpasses understanding." Before they could delve deeper into the unfolding revelation, the visitor took a step back toward the door. "Remember, it begins with love. Love compels the miraculous." Just as quickly as the figure appeared, they turned and left, the door closing softly behind them. The friends erupted into animated whispers, their hearts racing with the possibilities before them. Each felt the stirring of resolve. "What now?" Sarah asked, her eyes sparkling with anticipation. "What if we commit to this journey together? Can we start tonight?" Emily's voice rang with boldness, filled with hope. Yet in that moment, as they prepared to explore the depths of this new path, a gentle breeze swept through the room. The flickering candles trembled. The flicker of light may have faded, but the vitality of their faith was only just beginning to awaken. "Are we truly ready to forgive?" Emily pondered, feeling the weight of the divine mystery they were now entwined with. It felt as if the universe held its breath, awaiting their first step into this transformative unknown. The room hummed with a quiet energy, as if the air itself held its breath in anticipation. Emily's heart danced with a mix of apprehension and excitement. She turned to her friends, their faces aglow with a flickering determination as they absorbed the visitor's words. This was no ordinary moment, it felt like a calling, a divine alignment. "Let us gather in a circle," Emily suggested, eyes sparkling. The group quickly formed a tight-knit circle, their hands joining as though weaving a fragile but powerful tapestry of connection. "Together, we carry this energy," Emily said, her voice steady. "We can begin our journey tonight." Each of them nodded slowly, accepting the weight of their collective intent. The room seemed to vibrate with purpose, the candles casting playful shadows, echoing the light within their hearts. Emily took a deep breath, feeling the warmth of each hand in hers. "We begin with gratitude," she said softly, her voice wrapping around the gathering like a comforting glow. "Let us express our thanks for this moment, for the love that binds us, and the hope that fills our hearts." Silence enveloped them. Soft murmurs of appreciation drifted from each friend, as they began to articulate their thanks for the miracles already present in their lives. As voices rose and fell like gentle waves, Emily sensed a shift, a lightness began to diffuse through the air. Suddenly, Sarah's voice stood out. "I'm grateful for our friendships. Each of you has shown me kindness when I felt alone. Thank you for being my heart's refuge." Tears glimmered in her eyes, and Emily felt her own heart swell. This was what they needed, a safe harbor to heal, where souls could mend. As each friend shared, their collective burdens began to melt away, replaced by an overwhelming sense of belonging. Emily could feel the power of Ho'oponopono embracing them, guiding them toward their deeper truths. Jake's voice broke through the dense silence, firm and filled with conviction. "I forgive myself for the mistakes I've made. I lay my guilt down before all of you. I want to move forward together." A murmur of agreement swept through the circle, their hearts synchronizing. Each confession served as a balm, cleansing the wounds they all carried. Then it was Emily's turn. "I'm sorry for the times I've allowed fear to overshadow love. I'm ready to release that. I want to be a light for you all, as you've been a light for me." With every word, the air thickened with healing energy. The space transformed, filled with hope and open possibilities. They were stepping into a sacred arena of trust, illuminating each shadowed corner of their lives together. The flicker of candles burned brighter as if fueled by the raw power of their truths. As they moved toward forgiveness, an overwhelming sense of peace enveloped everyone. It was as if spirit stirred and whispered through the flames, circling them, inviting them deeper into sacred communion. Together, Emily said softly, "We can share our healing with the world outside these walls. Can you feel it? The power of our unity is greater than we ever imagined." Her words hung in the air, tangible and alive. It became clear, this journey was not solely for their healing, it was the first step toward healing others, a ripple effect waiting to be unleashed. But just then, a soft sound interrupted their sacred moment. A whispering wind danced through the open window. The candles flickered wildly, shadows swirling as if calling out to them. "What was that?" whispered Sarah, her voice trembling slightly. Emily felt a pull towards the window, a beckoning invitation. "Perhaps there's more to uncover, more messages waiting for us beyond the veil." As they stood on the brink of revelation, the night air hummed, charged with the promise of what was yet to come. What would they discover if they took that next step into the unknown? Emily's gaze turned towards the open window, the gentle night breeze inviting them closer. She felt an electric pulse in the air, as if the universe had conspired to show them more than just their own healing. "Let us see what the wind has to say," Jake said, stepping forward as if drawn by an invisible force. The others followed, their curiosity ignited. As they gathered around the window, the wind seemed to carry a melody, a soft, haunting tune that whispered of forgotten dreams and unspoken truths. It breathed life into the stillness, flickering the candles in a dance as old as time itself. "Do you hear that?" said Sarah, her eyes alight with wonder. "It feels alive." "It is alive," Emily replied softly, feeling each sound touch her heart. "It's reminding us that we are part of something greater." They leaned closer to the window, the warm air brushing against their faces as if urging them to listen more intently. Shadows played tricks on the walls, morphing into shapes and forms, signs of hope, dreams, and love intertwined. The room pulsed with a kind of anticipation, thick and sweet. Emily felt a budding realization that healing wasn't just about individual burdens, it was also about recognizing their place in the weave of life itself. They were each threads in a much larger tapestry. "Let us invite whatever is coming to us," Emily suggested, her voice a calm anchor amid the swirling energy. "Let us open our hearts even wider." With hands still connected, they took deep breaths together, allowing the energy to flow through the circle. Emily envisioned light pouring from each of them, weaving together into a brilliant illumination, a divine embodiment of their intentions. Suddenly, Sarah gasped, "Look." She pointed outside, where the moon broke through the clouds, casting a silvery beam that landed right in the center of their circle. In that moment of magnetic stillness, the group felt a surge of divine connection igniting within them. The air tingled, charged with an unexplainable force. They were anchored firmly to the spirit world, where love and healing danced freely. "What if," Jake mused, "this is the start of something monumental?" His eyes sparkled with possibilities. What if we are meant to be conduits of healing? Yes. Just as we have started to forgive ourselves and each other, perhaps we can channel that energy outward. Emily's heart raced. Every thought sounded like a spark, igniting deeper truths in her own core. The wind seemed to respond, a gentle whisper of agreement wrapping around them. It circled like a soft embrace, blessing their intentions, echoing the power that lay within. "Let us share what we've experienced with others," Sarah suggested hesitantly, yet with conviction. "We could create a gathering, a space for healing." "It feels like the right thing to do, doesn't it?" "Yes. We can host a night of sharing and healing," Emily exclaimed, confidence filling her voice. "Together, we'll invite others to join us, to experience this awakening and to be part of our unified journey." The excitement built as each friend began to brainstorm how they could connect their community, how they could weave together love and healing through their shared experiences. The energy of the room felt charged with a purpose greater than themselves, resonating with clarity. But then, just as quickly as the excitement surged, a sudden stillness permeated the air. The candles flickered more intensely, throwing shadows that danced wildly across the walls. A chill ran down Emily's spine as a presence enveloped them, palpable and urgent. Had they truly invited something divine into their midst? Or had their connection drawn forth something more mysterious? With hearts racing, they leaned closer in anticipation, wondering what was about to unfold, what revelations awaited them in the darkness. The air grew thick with anticipation, each breath feeling heavy with a profound sense of expectation. Emily's heart raced, the chill that had enveloped them felt like a protective shroud, as if a guardian spirit had drawn near. The flickering candles cast a soft glow that danced over their faces, revealing wide eyes filled with wonder and trepidation. "Can you feel it?" Jake whispered, almost reverently. "The energy, it's shifting." "Yes," Emily replied, her voice trembling slightly. "It's like the very fabric of our reality is stretching, preparing for something." Across the room, Sarah stood entranced, her fingers brushing against the window frame as if seeking a deeper connection. What if we're being called to something beyond ourselves? What if this is a sacred moment? As if to confirm her thoughts, the wind whistled through the open window, carrying with it a crisp scent that felt both ancient and new, filled with promise. The light from the moon shimmered, casting beams like rays of blessings upon them. Emily turned to her friends, seeing reflections of her own nervous excitement. "Maybe it's time to let go of our fears and trust," she suggested, feeling the truth of her words weave into the very essence of their gathering. "What if we embraced whatever is coming? What if we let the healing begin now?" With her heart laid bare, she held their hands tighter, and in that moment, her spirit soared. The air vibrated with energy, as if inviting them to harmonize their hearts and step deeper into the unknown. "I've heard of an ancient practice," Jake began. "Ho'oponopono. It's about forgiveness and healing. It teaches that by taking responsibility for our actions, we can heal not just ourselves, but our relationships." "Forgiveness," Sarah echoed, her eyes glistening with understanding. "Both to ourselves and to those we've been hurt by. It's a powerful tool." "Yes. Let us do it together," Emily urged, feeling the surge of inspiration flowing through them. "We can start by saying the 4 sacred phrases: I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you." They can guide us toward healing and light. One by one, they began to speak, each phrase spilling out like a holy incantation. Each word resonated deeply, breaking open the layers of hurt they had carried for so long. The whispers mingled with the wind, filling the room with a sacred resonance. The energy shifted once more. The shadows seemed to sway gently, losing their uncertain shapes and morphing into ethereal figures of light. Emily gasped as she sensed a divine presence among them, compassionate and wise, like a gentle balm on their wounded spirits. With tears flowing freely, Sarah spoke the words, "I'm sorry," pouring forth all the pain she had kept inside, and with each utterance, the chains of her soul grew lighter. "Please forgive me," Jake added, his voice quavering. He felt the burdens of his past lift, as if the very atmosphere wrapped him in grace. "Thank you," Emily whispered, gratitude filling her heart, illuminating the bonds of compassion and love forming among them. "I love you," they all chorused together, their voices blending into one harmonious cry, echoing through the night, reaching into the celestial realms. The gentle wind rustled through the room, carrying the remnants of pain away, leaving in its wake a profound peace, a peace that felt almost tangible, wrapping itself around their hearts. But just as the moment of healing reached its zenith, a thundering clap echoed from afar, shaking the very ground beneath them. Emily's heart raced anew, curiosity and fear mingling within her. What had they truly invited into their midst? What other mysteries awaited them in this sacred space? As the shadows shifted once more, something glimmered just outside the window, capturing their attention and stirring whispers of hope and anticipation. They leaned closer, hearts entwined, wondering what awaited them beyond the veil of the ordinary. The moment lingered in the air, heavy with expectation. The glimmer outside the window pulsed like a heartbeat, inviting them to explore the unknown depths of their own spirits. Emily looked into the eyes of her friends, searching for reassurance, as their collective breath caught at the sight. "What is it?" Jake asked, his voice a mere whisper. Sarah leaned forward, eyes reflecting the moonlight, mesmerized. The glow intensified, illuminating their surroundings in a soft ethereal light. It was as if the very night had received a divine invitation to join their sacred circle. "Let us go outside," Emily finally suggested, her heart swelling with courage. "It feels alive. Like it wants to share something with us." With a nod of agreement, the trio stepped away from the safety of the room and wandered to the window, each footstep echoing like a calling. As they crossed the threshold, a warm breeze wrapped around them, almost cradling them in divine embrace. Outside, the world transformed. The garden sparkled with an otherworldly radiance, flowers bending toward the light like hands in prayer. Each petal shimmered, offering up a silent song of praise as the luminous figure began to take form just beyond the edge of the garden. "Do you see that?" Sarah gasped, pointing toward the figure. "Is it an angel?" Jake whispered in awe. It was someone or something bathed in a warm, golden glow. The figure shimmered like a mirage, both distant yet near, radiant yet strangely familiar. The scene around them hushed, a holy silence settled over the atmosphere, urging them to listen deeper. "Take a moment to breathe," a gentle voice resonated in Emily's mind, though no words were spoken. It was as though the figure was communicating directly with her heart, inviting her into the stillness. "Can you hear it?" Emily murmured, closing her eyes for a moment. "I hear something," Jake said, his eyes wide. "It sounds like music." The melody felt woven into the very fabric of their being, drawing them closer. Each note echoed with a message that was ancient yet new, speaking of healing and transformation. The weight of their burdens began to feel lighter once again. They instinctively began to hold hands, creating a circle of love and openness. Together, Emily said gently, urging them onward. "Whatever is ahead, let us embrace it as one." They took a step forward, hearts unified. The figure started to approach, the light intensifying, revealing a face full of compassion and wisdom. "It's here," Sarah breathed, tears welling in her eyes. "It's so beautiful." As the figure grew closer, Emily felt the promises of healing and hope fill the air around them. A warmth washed over her, mingling with the breeze. It felt like divine love wrapping around their souls, erasing any shadows that had lingered. "Do you remember the words?" Emily whispered, looking at her friends. "Our sacred phrases, we need to share them again." In unison, they began their chant. "I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you." As the words poured forth, they recognized the figure was more than just a presence, it was a manifestation of their dreams, their love, their deepest longings. With each phrase, the light danced brighter, illuminating parts of them they didn't even know needed healing. But just as they felt the peak of this divine connection, the figure paused, raising a hand beckoning them forward. And suddenly, the music shifted, now combining with a new thundering beat, vibrating through their very beings. "What is it showing us?" Jake asked, wonder and apprehension mingling. "Perhaps," Emily said, her voice barely a whisper, "it's time to step into the unknown. The moment of divine revelation is upon us." As they stood at the threshold, the light enveloping them, questions buzzed in their hearts. Was this a new beginning? Or an invitation to confront their deepest fears? What awaited them on the other side? As the light enveloped them, goosebumps danced along Emily's arms. Each heartbeat resonated with a growing anticipation, a divine urging to step into a reality unseen. They were standing at the edge of something profound, a threshold where their lives could be forever transformed. "Together," whispered Emily, feeling a rush of energy as their hands tightened into a single, united force. With a collective breath, they stepped forward. Each step felt lighter, as if the burdens they had carried floated away behind them. The warm glow wrapped around them tighter, creating a cocoon of love and acceptance. And then, they stood before the figure, who was now fully formed, radiant and serene, with a face that sparkled with compassion. "Welcome, beloved souls," the figure intoned softly, voice echoing like music from another dimension. "You have answered the call of healing, and it stirs power like a mighty river." Emily felt tears slip down her cheeks. "We just want to heal, to grow, to forgive." The truth poured from her heart like an offering. The radiant being nodded, their luminous hands gesturing lovingly. "Healing is not solely within, it resides in the connections you weave with one another. Your sincerity will ignite a profound spark for your community." In that moment, Emily grasped the magnitude of their journey. They were not just a group seeking healing for themselves, they were chosen to radiate that healing outward. Their struggles would become pathways for others, lighting the way through darkness like stars illuminating the night sky. Suddenly, a flurry of memories rushed through Emily's mind, every shared prayer and every tear shed in honesty among her friends. It created a beautiful tapestry of understanding, and she saw each thread connected to a broader narrative of hope. The figure stepped closer. "Embrace Ho'oponopono's gifts fully. For forgiveness is the key that opens the heart's door, allowing love to flow unimpeded. You will gather others just as you are gathered now." "Yes," Jake breathed, "let us do it. Let us gather everyone together, share our healing, and invite them into this love." The figure smiled, the light becoming a beacon of joy spilling into the universe. "Your willingness to release the past for the present moment is all that is needed. With unity and intention, you will create a sanctuary for souls longing for peace." "Will it always be this easy?" Sarah asked, a note of apprehension in her voice. "Ease does not mean lack of effort," the figure replied gently, "but the journey will be beautiful. If you remain steadfast in love, any storm will strengthen the roots you share. Fear may arise, but through grace, you shall conquer every shadow." As the figure spoke, Emily felt an overwhelming warmth coursing through her spirit, clearing away lingering doubts. She turned to her friends, their faces glowing with excitement and conviction. "We can do this. We need to invite everyone. Let us fill the church with voices of healing." The gripping sense of purpose filled them, and they united into one plan, a beacon of transformation to every heart in the village. They would gather in their beloved church, nurture the love they had unveiled, and share Ho'oponopono's sacred words. As if sensing the momentum of their resolve, the radiant being began to fade, leaving behind a gentle glow around them. "You step forth into a divine legacy, but remember, it is in the listening and the loving that miracles unfold. Your faith will carry others to the arms of grace. Trust deeply." With that, a wave of energy washed over them, magnifying their gathered spirits. "No matter the storm, let us trust and walk this path of healing together," Emily proclaimed, but it felt like something more than mere words. They were divine incantations releasing their intentions into the cosmos. They turned toward the vibrant village, ready to transform lives, ready to embrace the healing they once sought. The air hummed with new life, the stars sparkling above them like blessings, each twinkle a promise from God that they were not alone. As they walked hand in hand into the heart of community, Emily's heart sang a melody of hope and love. This was the moment they became vessels of healing, living testimonies of divine grace, and they were just getting started. Now, how will you ignite your journey? You need to subscribe now to be part of these powerful stories unfolding. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like now to help feed the algorithm. Comment your testimonies and reactions to this powerful ending. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this manifestation of faith. Your actions are vital in spreading this divine healing.